ahead and start streaming and see. It's probably going to take a few minutes for people to start rolling in.
Well, yeah, go ahead, throw me some questions or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, what's your favorite kind of beer?
Ah, dude, it's the worst. I like Miller Lite.
Really? Where are you originally
Yeah.
from?
Me, I'm from Philadelphia, Philly, PA, Kensington area.
Okay. Yeah, my entire family, they drink Miller Lite, but they're all from the South, Louisiana, Texas. So it's funny to hear somebody up in Pennsylvania. Like, usually there are a lot of hipsters up there, and
Mm-hmm.
like they drink.
IPA lovers, yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Or the real fucking OG hipsters that started drinking PBR before it was cool.
No, I like Miller Lite because when I don't really drink too much, so when I do, I like to competitively drink beer pong.
Okay.
So you could drink more, you could play more rounds if you drank Miller Lite. Everybody else would be drinking like an IPA or something heavy like Yingling, and they'd be out after 3 games. I'm like 12 games deep drinking Miller Lite.
Dude, hell yeah, I love Yingling. So I was in the Air Force for 6 years, and
Oh wow! Well, thank you for your service.
oh, dude, I loved my time in. But every time I would deploy, like that was literally like the beer of choice for everybody. Because whenever you go overseas, like it's slim pickings for beers, but Yingling was always stocked and readily available. Like wherever you go overseas, it's incredible. So we would drink the shit out of that whenever I was deployed. All right, we're starting to get some people in here. We've got, oh fuck, it's not. Let's see if I can.
Miller Lite is my backup, bro.
Yeah, what's the first? What's the first man?
No, I was reading the chats here. Actually, my drink of choice is vodka Red Bull. If I'm at the bar or anything, vodka Red Bull. So if you see me at the bar and you want to get me a drink, vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, yeah. So for those of you that haven't been to Kenn's channel before, he actually has like a beer tip. What is that called? The QR code for your beer fund.
My Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin buy me a beer. It's my beer fund.
Yeah,
people do buy me beer quite a bit. It's awesome. So I'll go to this, the restaurant or the bar next door, and I'll try to send them a proof of beer. I'll be like, look, bought this with crypto because I have a shift payment Visa card. So if they send me Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Bitcoin Cash, I can use that cryptocurrency like instantly to buy a beer anywhere. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. That's really fucking cool.
Right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, what do you do with crypto? How do you spend it? And I'm like, well,
I buy
how do
beer.
you spend money? You know what I mean? Like you trade it for things. I trade my Bitcoin or Litecoin for beer.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
For sure. So we've got about 20 people in here now, so let's just go ahead and get started, man.
Okay, fire away.
All right, so first off, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and how you got started with crypto, and maybe plug your channel a little bit.
All right, cool. Well, my name's Kenn Bosack, and I'm here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. It's kind of like my little tagline thing. I don't know how that happened. I just turned on my camera and spoke, and it happened. But yeah, a little bit about how I got into Bitcoin. I actually had a friend of mine get a job with me where I repair cell phones, Android and Apple screens and stuff like that. And he was talking about Bitcoin, and I was like, it's whatever, dude. I don't really care. And I was actually looking to invest in stuff at the time, and it was a really unique situation because I was looking at investing in stocks and trading them on TD Ameritrade, and I was just starting to learn that there's a lot of expensive borders to entry to trade, and it's not really feasible for somebody in my price range or my tax bracket. So I was like, let me see if I can invest in something early, try to catch a break. So I was like, Snapchat's not public yet. Let me see if I can invest in their IPO or whatever. I was like, let me see if I can invest in that. Nope. You have to be like a millionaire or be a part of a brokerage team that are worth several $1,000,000 in order to invest in it before it goes public. So I was like, well, how do I become a millionaire if I have to be a millionaire to become a millionaire? And then my friend was like, look, I've been telling you about Bitcoin, man. You can buy a piece of it. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. You have to buy a whole stock. Like, if you want Google stock, you have to buy a whole Google stock. You can't just buy a tenth of it. And he was like, well, that's the problem. Like, no, that's the problem. And then we, argued back and forth. I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then Ethereum came along, and my coworker showed me the video on the website for the ICO, I believe.
Yeah.
Ethereum things, and it explained in detail, the Internet of Things. And at the time, nobody saw these ICOs or smart contracts like that being used. I was thinking more like my car communicating with the streetlights on the highway. So as I drive, they turn on, and as I leave, they turn off. And, the smart contracts are expensive, but they're cheaper than paying to keep the lights on all the time. So I was like, yo, this makes sense. It's safe. My car can't get hacked by hackers. I love this. The Internet of Things. How do I invest? And my buddy was like, bro, I've been trying to tell you about the Internet of Money for like a year. And I was like, oh, I didn't get the Internet of Money concept until I understood or kind of got the concept of the Internet of Things with Ethereum. So by the time I invested, it was Bitcoin was $450. Ethereum was around $8, and Litecoin was around $4. And I went in pretty heavily because like I wanted to support the technology. I really didn't think I was going to make any money, especially looking at the charts. They were not doing very great at the time. So I was like, what, let me just support this technology, see what happens. And out of nowhere, I kind of fell down the rabbit hole. I started listening to a lot of podcasts. I started listening to Andreas Antonopoulos like religiously.
Great guy.
Yeah, dude, for sure. It was crazy because like my first month or so, I actually like interviewed him as a part of like a group interview. And I was just so new to crypto, I didn't even know who I was talking to.
Oh,
and
shit.
yeah, it was really enlightening to speak to him as like somebody that like person to person helped on ramp me. And not too long later after that, maybe a couple months into being a crypto person, I was like reaching out to people, and Tone Vase actually spoke at a meetup I helped organize in Philadelphia. It was pretty cool. So there's Tone Vase talking at like 30th Street Station in Philly.
That's awesome.
And there was a bunch of people like huddled around, and it was really cool. If he was to go and try to do that today, I have a feeling that we would pack 30th Street Station to the gills.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was only about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And
so you got in like around the end of 2016 then?
Yeah, but I haven't been in that long.
Well, I mean, so you're talking to probably a lot of very fresh crypto traders.
Oh, yeah, true. True.
So like you've been in for quite a while. I actually got in 2013, and I have loved every minute of it. But I've never really been outspoken with it until this year. I decided to start up my channel, and like watching YouTube channels like yours and other great YouTube channels that are just trying to spread education and good information is kind of what made me start. I was like, you know what? There are a lot of really shitty YouTubers out there that, are just trying to get rich off the backs of their viewers, and that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. This space is so incredible. The technology behind this space can do so much in our day-to-day lives, and so I've always appreciated your channel. In fact, like the very first video I watched of yours was whenever you were talking shit about BitConnect. And I watched that and I was like, oh my God, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. He knows it's a scam. Like, I've been trying to tell people this forever, like since BitConnect started. This is a scam, guys. These returns are not feasible. And so that immediately made me respect your channel.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, man. That whole thing was weird because the people that supported it, used to say buy and hold Bitcoin, and then out of nowhere it was like, well, buy Bitcoin, but don't hold on to it. Sell it for this, and then you could use that fiat to buy it back later. And I was like, wait, you want me to buy Bitcoin back? That doesn't sound safe. I was like, you're chasing the Bitcoin profit tail. I don't want to chase after Bitcoin's profits. That doesn't make any sense. Even 40% a month isn't, Bitcoin way outperform that. If you were to just hold Bitcoin, you would have made way more than 40% a month.
Yep.
So that's where I was like, that's a scam in a conversation. You know, give me your cryptocurrency at its dollar value, and I'll hold on to it, and I'll give you back some dollars. And if you want to buy it back, you have to buy it back at the new higher market value from me. Yeah, it's a scam. And it was weird that people were like promoting it. But again, it used to be like big hodlers, like, you know, hey man, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And out of nowhere, they changed overnight. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just wanted to make a quick buck, and
Oh, they made millions.
well, they lost millions, is what they did.
That's true.
Well, okay, the people that got in initially and were there to pull out funds after 9 months, those people made a shit ton of money off the backs of like their viewers, and that's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, I've always been a big proponent of like trying to teach people to stay away from scams like that. Um, so let's just move this along a little bit. Can you tell the audience a little bit about the hack that occurred on your social media accounts and stuff, and maybe offer up some tips of how to stay safe online, especially with like your private keys and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, yeah, I was hacked a little bit after my running spree of bad mouthing BitConnect. And one of their big sponsors offered me Bitcoin to stop doing that. They did this publicly, so I was like, sure, if you pay me, I'll stop talking smack. And then, you know, they kind of paid me, and I was like, you're out of your mind if you think I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. It's a scam. And everybody was like, oh, now you're a scam. And I was like, if you scam a scammer, are you really a scammer? And I gave the money away over a period of time publicly. But after that, I found out that there was somebody, could be the same person, I don't know, but somebody put a hit out on me on the deep web to basically hack all my accounts. And it happened. I don't know exactly how. There was many things I realized I was lacking in security. Um, Definitely didn't realize the thing that we give away the most is like very vital. You know, I didn't realize, like, I know my email's secure, but even just giving away your email address that you use in by default or for, you know, majority of your work, keep that private and have a separate email for public.
Yep.
So I didn't really think to have a separate email that I never gave away. And, you know, that's the start right there. If they didn't know where your, you know, if you didn't know where everything is, they can't really break into it to begin with. So that's the start. The second thing I think I did wrong was I may have used the same password more than once, but probably not more than twice. But it is possible I used the same password more than once. And that's all it really takes. You know, they keep trying. They know that that email and that password exists on this platform. So it's possible that that combination can get into any platform. So say I log into BitConnect with my email and password, they have that information on their side, so they could try that information on platform after platform after platform until something unlocks. So that's possible. Something could have happened to that effect. And then giving away your phone number. Hey, call me, text me, here's my phone number.
Yeah, for sure.
Once they have your phone number, they could try to call your phone carrier and have them set that phone number to a different device. So if you have two-factor authentication turned on, they get the text message with the 2FA on their phone wherever they are, even though you had it on this physical phone. It's the security at the other end where your service provider is that's lacking that they can take advantage of.
Right.
Me personally, I screwed up in a very unique way, everybody. So try to hear me out on this. I use Google Hangouts for everything. So I didn't even pay a phone bill until I got my first YouTube paycheck thing. And I was like, YouTube gave me money. I'm going to get a phone plan, because I was 28 years old or something, 27 when I got my first phone plan. And it was with my YouTube check. So I used voice over IP address, Google Hangouts. So when I set up my 2FA for Google, it was to a Google Hangouts phone number. So when the hackers had access to my email address and they hit reset password, the 2FA went right to my Google Hangouts, which they had access to through Gmail. So indirectly had access to 2FA once they had access to my email. It was like, why even have the 2FA to begin with? So I didn't really think about that. So what I've tried to do to remedy that is create multiple emails that I don't give out, that I use for my more serious business, and phone numbers or VoIP numbers with various emails that I now use as like backups that I don't give away for any reason. So it's weird that we like, here's my email address, send me an email. But doing that opens you up to the possibility of being attacked. It's like, here's my address. I have a Sloman shield, but here's my address. What can you do? Now they know where you live. This shield can only do so much. If they didn't know where you live, it would be more in protection. You'd have more protection. So just in my opinion, for you, Crypto Clay, just remain anonymous. I try to tell people, if they're going to come into crypto and be a personality, come up with a name. Don't give away your full name. Don't give away your main email address or your phone number. I was way too friendly, I guess, and welcoming, and I gave away a lot of information that I didn't really think was supposed to be that private. Like, here's my phone number, here's my email, stuff like that. Here, send me a letter. You want to mail me a hat or something? Here's my address.
Yeah.
Well, now the hackers know where I live, so if they tried to call my phone company like Verizon, they ask me where I live, they know these information. I'm like, I never thought about all the stuff I just gave away to these people to use against me. So, just try to keep a lot of things private and you'll be fine, and have redundancies. So if you already gave away email, just make up a new email address. Use that now for your trading in and out platforms, and get a new phone number. If if you have that worry that you may be hacked, get a different line that you don't give away and use that for 2FA. But yeah, that's really it. I mean, two-factor authentication on everything, honestly, and just try to keep that device safe, because it's a bummer when you get hacked, guys. Trust me.
For
I
sure.
don't even know how to explain it.
So, something that you talked about, I'm just going to tell everybody in the audience to use. He talked about passwords and how you shouldn't have passwords the same on any two accounts, and that's very true. So pick up something like KeePass that allows you to generate a different password for each platform that you use. You only need one master password to log into KeePass, and then you can generate a random string of basically, it's a hash password for every single one of your accounts. It's pretty incredible.
It sounds awesome. I actually I can't remember the name of the app, but I do use a paid password app manager now. It's worth the security.
For sure. KeePass is freeware, guys. So if you want to go and pick that up, just type in KeePass in Google, and it's completely free, and it'll keep your passwords entirely safe. It's really good to use. So moving on, right now, like, which blockchain, in your opinion, has the best use case? And I'll explain like my favorite right now. But yeah, I just want to hear your opinion.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. So best use case right now by far is STEEM.
Dude, you stole my answer. I knew you were going to steal my answer. You're a smart motherfucker. I knew you were going to say that.
The reason that I say that is because it's actually being used for its original purpose. Many of the cryptos that are online today are not being used for their original purpose. Bitcoin is not really being used for its original purpose. People are using it for a store of value. That is not what it was intended for. Now, whenever the Lightning Network and segregated witness wallets are implemented throughout the entire network, I think we're going to see Bitcoin being utilized for its original purpose again. However, Bitcoin is no longer being used for that original purpose. Ethereum is not being utilized for its purpose yet.
Correct.
There is still so much work to be done on decentralized applications. ICOs are launching their ERC20 tokens and ERC 223 tokens on that blockchain now, but that's really not what its initial purpose was. And so Out of all the blockchains that I've been studying recently, I think STEEM is actually being used as its purpose.
Yep. Now I like Steam a lot, and that's like what I try to tell people. It's like it's actually, in my opinion, probably the only blockchain that has a use case right now, like that has and will remain, viable to the community. Don't the way Steam it works, I don't know if it could become too popular to work. You know what I mean? It can handle the transactions of those upvotes and re-steams very well, and even with the addition of things like DTube, and I think they're even building like an Instagram type layer on top. It's interesting to see how it's been really utilized by the industry or by the community, not just crypto enthusiasts, but you can go on there and see people that write dietary blogs that have migrated from forums from Reddit or blogs like medium.com, where they don't really earn anything. There's really no incentive to keep coming back and creating that good content, rather than all you're getting is an attaboy when you see a couple thumbs up at the bottom left. But when you go to Steam it and you create content that really people feel is a contribution, they can hit that upvote button, and it's not just a attaboy. You know what I mean? It's a wealth distribution. I say, here's my value to the community, and you're bringing value to the community. I want to distribute some of my value to you, so you have more incentive to come back and make this community worth more, which was, as in fact, make me worth more. Like I try to tell people, it is kind of like a pyramid scheme in a sense, because it has the early upvote incentive and all of that, but it's a popularity MLM. People are fighting for the best content. It's actually one of the best pyramid schemes. It's an information scheme that it just keeps forcing new and more and better information to keep being produced, or it will come to a halt. So everybody that's producing or wants something out of it has to produce more into it than they expect to get out. So I really like Steam it for that.
Yeah, I would almost say that that's capitalism at its finest, and I'm a capitalist at heart, so I actually really appreciate that aspect of the platform.
I don't know what I am. I really don't have like a classification.
Yeah, well, my viewers know that I am all about making money, and so like my channel is about the technology. Of course, I love the technology. I've been a geek my entire life, but yeah, like I'm also a businessman. Like I enjoy making money, and so when it comes to that, like that's very capitalistic. So that's really cool that we have the same blockchain in mind when talking about that. So
what do you think of EOS? Same mindset, right? That guy created Steam and created EOS.
Yeah, so Dan Larimer has always been one of my role models, actually. Whenever he created BitShares, he actually was designing that whenever Satoshi Nakamoto was designing Bitcoin. Not many people know that he's been in that long. But yeah, he was studying blockchain whenever Satoshi Nakamoto was actually designing Bitcoin. Satoshi just beat him to the punch. Not many people know that. But yeah, so for EOS, I love the idea. I really do. But to raise over $1 billion for an ICO is just a little bit absurd in my opinion. So
a year-long ICO.
Yeah, exactly. Like to raise over $1 billion just is a little bit absurd. There's no way you could ever spend that kind of money on development.
Hopefully you can, though. Hopefully you can. That's why I like the idea of Academy for the Blockchain Academy. He needs developers, right? He has a bunch of money, but he doesn't have anybody to hire. So with all that money, you have the incentive now to distribute that wealth to the education of this entire industry. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you the students, but that's what I think a lot of these companies are going to have to do. These ICOs are raising so much money, they have no employees to hire. There's like no developers that understand blockchain technology enough There's one developer to 12 projects, I heard, or something to that effect.
For sure.
So they're spread very thin. So I think, you know, with that money, they're going to be an influx of you know, almost like college loans, or not loans, grants, you know, from the blockchain industry, where here, I just take this money, go learn how to code, please come back to me when you're done, maybe. And hopefully that'll keep happening. But I think that is where that kind of money will eventually force their hand, because they have a $1 billion viable product yet. You know, there's nothing to take the market. The investors over a year put in $1 billion. What have you done with that money? And you know, they don't have anybody to hire to develop anything yet. They only have the idea. So I think that's the next step.
So like, whenever talking about something like this, like I have to take into consideration what other developers are saying about things like this. Charles Hoskinson is one of my favorite developers. He was one of the founders of Ethereum. Now he's the CEO of the Cardano project. I was
big on that project.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview of his, and he was saying that like he has to appreciate some of the things that Dan Larimer has done for the crypto space, bringing delegated proof of stake to life, bringing, you know, thousands of transactions per second in the process. So he talked about that, but then he said there is no reason for any project like that to ever raise over $1 billion. And like I kind of took that to heart. I was like, you know what? If somebody like him, somebody of his stature, is saying something like that, you know it's probably true, because his project probably could have raised that kind of capital as well, but they didn't. They chose not to because they knew they didn't need it.
I think they need it in the long run, man. I really do. Long run.
We'll see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Dan Larimer, and I think he's an incredible architect. And so I'm invested in EOS. I've told my viewers that I've been invested since day one of the ICO.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm invested in both ADA and EOS. And
same here, full disclosure.
Yeah. And Tezos. Tezos is another one that I've been invested in since day one of the ICO. And I hope that it launches soon. Next month, I think, is whenever it's supposed to be launching.
You got somebody in your chat who wants to know our opinion on U.S. citizens using VPNs to get into ICOs. Don't do it, bro.
So, full disclosure, you cannot purchase EOS in the ICO without a VPN. So, full disclosure there.
Gotcha. I've been using Jax. Jax makes my life a lot easier sometimes.
Absolutely. Jax, the only thing about Jax is their initial hack that they had, they never implemented anything for that back door that I know of. And so like whenever I heard about that, I kind of shied away from Jax. However, the creator of Jax has been involved in the Bitcoin community since the first year that Bitcoin was introduced. So, you know, he's a good guy, and I definitely trust things that he puts his hands on. But I don't know. I just have shied away from things that don't allow me to hold my private keys. For me, like I like to use a hardware wallet.
Yeah, same here. Ledger Blue and Ledger Nano S and the Ledger Nano. It's like my 3 egos right there. I love those things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good ICOs will. The way I see it is, if you're going to be raising that kind of money, you need to go to the SEC and register your security token. Because like with that kind of money, you have the funds to register your token with the SEC. Don't be lazy. Don't cut corners. Um, so yeah, I agree with Ken on that, guys. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the market. So my channel is mainly about new projects, but I also talk about the market quite a bit because a lot of my viewers are traders. So I like to talk about short-term and long-term goals in the market. Where do you see the market both short and long-term right now?
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Short term, I could see a nice correction only because the mainstream media keeps saying it. It's almost like everybody kept saying Bitcoin to 10K. Everybody on Twitter changed their little thing, BTC 10K, and it happened. You know, it was like kept saying it, and you know, it kept putting that value on it out there into the ether. And now we have the mainstream media and everything saying Bitcoin is going to come down 90%, probably to $1,000. It's if you keep calling something a duck, eventually it's going to quack for you, and that's the what we're probably going to see is a lot of people that don't even understand what Bitcoin is other than money, because Bitcoin isn't money. It's a digital utility that can be used as money,
Right.
but Bitcoin at the moment right now is pretty bad at being money.
Yeah.
So the people buying it are expecting it to work like this, you know, finalized technology when it's still in infancy. So when the media and the news say things like, you know, Bitcoin's going to crash 90% overnight, or, you know, we get these stories of FUD where we have American reporters speaking for foreign, governments where they say, oh, South Korea is banning Bitcoin. Like, no, they're not. Nobody's banning Bitcoin. That would be a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever you ban something, you just create an entirely new profitable market that cuts out the entire possibility of any government agency getting any willful donations. You know, if, at least if it's legal, you have people willfully giving you taxes and willfully giving up their capital gains and stuff like that. But if you make it illegal, it's really putting a lot of work on hunting down these things. But yeah, dude, it's probably going to see a bearish period, and I could see a lot of people maybe that invest, like the traditional investors that we've been getting in recently, that have just been trying to throw money at this, so they can't get it in fast enough. They might start looking towards more traditional means of investing in cryptocurrencies. So what I mean when I say this are things like, you know, stocks of companies who indirectly have value because they're a cryptocurrency or blockchain company or industry, where they may have investments in cloud mining, or
Mm.
they have patents in some whatever, or whatever the case may be. You may be seeing those people go that route where I want to invest in cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies, but I want to get a stock where the company is, you know, more responsible for my returns, because these ICOs have been burning me all year, stuff like that. So the long term, though, I see the people that have been watching Bitcoin that know and understand the full potential, and once it's reached what that really means for its, you know, the reflection of it on the price, I think that they're going to see this buying opportunity as too good to let go. Um, See, the thing is, really rich people can't buy Bitcoin as fast as they want. If you're a rich millionaire and you wanted to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin, I mean, even us now, you know, it's pretty damn difficult to buy even a couple $1,000s worth of Bitcoin on the fly. You have to like or arrange and organize and kind of set up, you know, a deal to get cash for Bitcoin, or send cash into Bitcoin.
I
So
actually
these
just got GDAX to up my levels to 50K a day, and that was difficult.
50K? Yo, that's
Like,
insane. Yeah, dude, I can't imagine the trouble you went through for that.
yeah, like I basically had to explain to them, like, look, I'm trying to get money in and out of the market quickly. Like, please,
Right.
like,
Yeah, but here's your problem. What if you wanted to buy 50K every day? You know, you probably shouldn't do that, because by the end of the week, you know, not you, not 50K, but, you know, if you had millions, you may actually have increased the price of the asset you wanted to buy by the next time you bought it.
right,
So you actually got yourself less because you paid more. So that's where I'm seeing this right now, where people that are rich, like I'm talking the current one percenters, that are going to try to save their asses with this, like Netflix or a Blockbuster trying to throw out a Hail Mary and throw an app out before Netflix, which didn't happen. But they're going to try to get themselves involved, but they can't just throw $1 billion into Bitcoin without making all of us wealthier than them overnight and making it harder for them to get their second investment in. So that's what we're looking at. Like, think of CME, LedgerX, Fidelity, and Coinbase Custody. Coinbase Custody hasn't even started taking in institutional investors yet, and they have a $10 million minimum contract. So if you want to do business with Coinbase Custody as an institutional investor, and you want them to be the custodian for this asset, yes, it is insured with 24-hour support, one-on-one support. You get the first and last name of the guy in charge of your Coinbase Custody account. $100,000 just to sign up. You never even get to invest it. That's paid money. Then it's $10 million minimum investment. Wait until that kind of money starts coming in. It hasn't happened yet. So everything that's going on with the price has nothing to do with the technology. The technology itself doesn't get affected by the price.
Right.
So when I see Bitcoin dip, and it's not because SegWit has some vulnerability, or it doesn't look like Lightning Network is going to work with SegWit for some reason. Nothing is being said like this, but the price is coming down. That's great for me. Unless there's some kind of reason that the technology is reflecting the price instead of the other way around, I'm not worried. And I don't think anybody is. So the next year, as the institutional investors start to roll in, the price can't be pushed down by the media. The money's going to be coming in such a wave in like the middle of this year. It's going to be impossible to FUD it. It's going to be insane.
I actually have a theory about that. Exactly what you just talked about, but that's actually what I've been talking about for the past few days on my channel, the current price of Bitcoin. So I'm glad you brought that up. Essentially what I think is happening, these CME futures that have 5 Bitcoin per contract, I think the large financial institutions are actually shorting the market right now in those futures because they bought in at 4 or 5K per Bitcoin. So now at the 10K price, they can sell those off, those physical Bitcoins that they bought at 4 and 5K, and still make a profit while causing panic in the market to bring the price down so that they can make more money off of their shorting positions. So this week, the first CME contracts close on Friday on the 26th, and the lower the price of Bitcoin goes, the more money they make. So let's say they shorted at the top at 20K and it reaches 7K. Well, that's 65K in profits off of a single contract. One contract is 65K in profit if it drops to 7K. So you have these people that bought in really early, these financial institutions, without telling anybody. They were scalping Bitcoin at these cheap prices, saying, all right, we're going to bring the price up. We're going to FOMO the market, make people buy in. And that's whenever you started seeing people like take out credit cards and loans and remortgage their homes so that they could get in on Bitcoin. They were like, man, this is going to the moon. Well, as soon as that first futures contract came online, you started seeing the price drop on Bitcoin. And why is that? Well, these people that were buying in with a shit ton of money in the very beginning, right before those were introduced, were able to sell at a higher profit and make profit off of the shorting positions that they started. So it's a win-win for them. It really is. And it's going to be interesting to see if this is cyclical, where we see every single futures contract do the same exact thing, or if this is going to stabilize the price of Bitcoin, which I think could definitely happen. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that I've been talking a lot about lately. So long term, what do you think is going to happen long term?
I'm with John McAfee. This is headed to the millions. Bitcoin doesn't even have an actual use case yet. Its price is based off speculation of the capabilities of its technology being applied to a use case. So once it's say like I like things like Ubiquity. They're doing property management, title ownership on Bitcoin's blockchain. So in places like South America, Venezuela, or Africa, places that may have difficulty keeping track of the deeds. Their deed office could be damaged by a flood or a riot or natural disasters, whatever. Now you don't know who owns the land, you can't prove it. Well, if it was on the blockchain, that wouldn't be the case. And when I think of that use case, I like to think of like how in South Africa they never really got landlines, house phones. By the time landline technology was feasible for them, their cell phone technology existed, and they just passed an entire technology bubble like that. The analog phone phase, they never had the rotary. They just skipped that entire thing,
Yeah.
and they just grew up in the cell phone era. It was weird because by the time that technology would have been applied, it would be so outdated that it doesn't make sense. And that is what I think is going to happen with the title property management and stuff like that, and even other things like identity, even on Bitcoin's blockchain. Um, Bitcoin has the legacy, man. It's in order to beat Bitcoin and be better than Bitcoin or be the next Bitcoin, you have to have a freaking time machine and go back in time, have that blockchain exist before Bitcoin's
Yep.
blockchain, and then somehow get mining power that is bigger than what? The 10 world's biggest supercomputers multiplied by what? 100 now or something. It's Bitcoin is insane. It's taking up more power than a small country. So if your blockchain wants to be better than Bitcoin, you need a time machine.
It's the most secure network in the world right now.
Yep, period, for anything. And
Yep.
that's the best part. What will we use that for? What do you want to use that most secure thing in the world for? It's not cheap. It costs a little bit to use that security. So what's the cost effective give and take? What do we put on the blockchain? What does it make sense? What does make sense? And when it comes to like your house and things like Ubiquity, I could see that is a perfect use case, because I don't think it matters how much that transaction fee costs. You're buying a house, you're fine with it. If you lost the deed to that house, you would have damn well paid whatever that transaction fee was to get that back, because you'll have to pay property tax on it. But if you can't prove you own it, it's really hard to sell it to somebody. So you
No,
could be
that's
stuck with it.
that's actually hilarious that you mentioned that, because I had a buddy of mine that is a real estate agent come on my show a couple of weeks ago and talk about real estate on the blockchain, and it was a really, really awesome interview. And we actually talked about ubiquities, so that's actually really funny that you mentioned that.
That's cool. I mean, I love the real use cases. There's so many things. Like most of the things I invest in are because I believe in the future of its use case. It
Yep.
isn't being used now, but I can see the problem, I can see the solution, and I can see how easy that solution could be applied. Like it's almost like, why haven't we done this yet? But then you think about the internet and you're like, oh, it's been missing blockchain technology this whole time. That's why we haven't been able to vote on the internet. That's why we haven't been able to do a lot of things on the internet. I mean, for crying out loud, Congress just started using the computers instead of paper documents a
Yeah.
year ago.
Yep.
Everything is so behind, and we have to embrace these things. Do you mind if I talk a little bit about one project I'm really excited about? But
Oh,
like,
absolutely, dude.
it's not like something I make Civic CVC. You know about it?
Yes, I do. I actually made a video about it.
I love that whole idea of like protecting my identity through them, and then anybody that needs any verification just gets the thumbs up from them, and that's the trusted source. In case anybody's watching, Civic is like your driver's license on the blockchain type of deal. It's like the DMV almost. Like it's your identification. But what I like about it is, say you have the application on your phone, which I do actually have the Civic app. You can put your information on there. So far, your phone number and email, but soon maybe your driver's license, passport. and you just put your finger on it to unlock the app,
But
and it has a scan. So say you wanted to go buy cigarettes, you can go to the store and they say, let me see your ID. You open up your Civic wallet and you scan the QR code that says you have to be born before this date to be of age to buy cigarettes. You scan it with your Civic wallet. It says, thumbs up. This person meets these requirements. Now, the cashier never got my first name, my last name. The cashier doesn't know where I live. All of this information I give away to the cashier when I want to buy cigarettes. So
yeah.
I'm literally just giving away all this personal, private information just to buy a pack of cigarettes that could totally be, done with. We can get away with that with something like Civic. So that's the use case, and that's like the kind of thing that I get passionate about when it comes to blockchain technology, because it makes me think of like, well, what if you're a girl and the guy behind the counter is kind of creepy? Do you want to ask him for cigarettes knowing he's going to card you, or will you just go to a different store? Now you're going all the way out of your way because you need your ID, because now he knows where you live, all because you wanted a cigarette or a beer. Like, that's a problem, man. It is a problem. And
Yeah, it is.
The problem is most people don't know that's a problem.
So one of the coolest features I think of Civic is first of all, like, you don't release any information to anybody unless you want to. So that's really cool. The second thing that I really love about Civic is the fact that whenever you go to like apply for a job or apply for an apartment, instead of having to pay every single time for a background check, for a credit check, for whatever, like usually there's 3 checks that get applied to any job application or any apartment application. All of that information can be put in one location on the Civic blockchain, and then you don't have to pay for that to be pooled. You really don't. Like, it's so incredible having that technology available at your fingertips and saying, hey, you want this information? All right, I'll release it to you, but only to you.
No, exactly. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. That's the thing that I get into, though. Like, I never really invest in much to be like, that's going to make me money. I invest in it because I'm like, I want that to exist.
Yeah.
So I can use it to have a better quality experience in life. And if there's a chance I can make money off of it, great. But I never once bought something like, even like basic attention token. I'm like, I think that makes sense. I want to get paid for my attention. I'm so sick of looking at ads and not getting a cut.
Yeah.
I pay my electric bill. I pay my internet bill. I bought the computer, and then you're going to show me these ads and not give me a cut? I invested into all the stuff that made it possible for you to subject me to these ads. At least give me a cut.
Yeah.
And that's why I bought some of that, and I got in it under a nickel, and it's done very well this year.
For sure. Yeah, like, in fact, I was one of the very first investors of Ethereum, and like, whenever I heard about it, whenever I first saw it, I tried telling all of my friends in the space. I was like, man, like, this is going to be huge, guys. Like, read this white paper. Like, this is the way of the future. And like, all of my friends in the space were like, Clay, what the fuck are you talking about? That's retarded.
I got that a lot.
Bitcoin is the only way.
And I'm not the best face for this, I smoke a lot of weed. I like to be a little futurist and see far out there. Like, I saw Uber Eats coming before Uber even knew they could do Uber Eats. I was like, dude, just wait till my Uber driver can just deliver me a friggin' McDonald's Big Mac, just because the Big Mac's basically a passenger. Watch. And everyone's like, dude, that's stupid. Who's gonna do that? The guy's gonna spit in your food. If you had that logic, the guy in the kitchen's gonna spit in your food. Like, come on. So I like to think far out. My friends know this of me. So when I got into things like Ethereum, and I tried to tell them, like, look, dude, yes, it does cost to use the network, but the thing that's going to save it money, it's going to make it worthwhile. And the security you get, and they're just not getting it.
Yeah.
So I can relate with you there. It was crazy. And how about, I don't know this about you, but I know I couldn't shut up about Bitcoin when I got into it for at least the first year. So I actually stopped getting invited to family parties and friends get-togethers because it's all I fucking talked about. People would be like, can you just shut up already?
So whenever I was in the Air Force, I literally like told all of my friends in the Air Force all the time about blockchain technology, and they hated whenever I would open my mouth about blockchain.
They were hostages to conversation.
Yeah. So they were like, so I used
love it.
to be an aviator in the Air Force. So whenever we would fly, you know, like you're on headset the entire time, and like you're on hot mic talking to the rest of your crew, and there are certain conferences that you can set up on the jet that I worked on, and in my conference with my people, I worked with a lot of very brilliant minds. So like I loved talking to them about these ideas, but like every time I would fly, they would be like, Clay, we're going to have some conversations today, but don't fucking talk about Bitcoin today. I'm going to be on this flight with you for the next 8 hours. I don't want to fucking hear about Bitcoin for the next 8 hours, okay? And I was like, all right, man, you know, you're missing out. You're missing out. So
I'm sure they're reaching out to you now like, yo, can I get that 8-hour free lesson you were willing to give me?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. But the thing is though, man, I don't even hold a grudge about that. Like, I'm just happy that they're getting into it now. Like, so if any of my friends that, you know, watch my channel now, like, want to ask me questions about it, I'm still super excited to talk to them about it. I'm sure you're the same way with your family.
I just hope that people are getting into it for the right reasons, you know, not just because the price is going up, but because the technology is getting better. The word hard fork scared a lot of people away that came in from like stocks and bonds. They thought there was like a stock split, but then it wasn't a stock split. I don't understand what's happening. It's not a dividend, but it is a dividend. What's happening here? Basically, Bitcoin updated and got an upgrade in technology, and that gave it a stronger, you know, use case for it to be used. So
are you talking about
happens,
Bcash?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Not just Bcash though, SegWit in general.
Okay.
SegWit and all these things. You know, as Bitcoin goes through these, we'll see people that don't understand it, you know, take their money out because they don't know what's going on. But that doesn't affect the use case of the technology. Once Lightning Network, we had our first pizza bought with Bitcoin's Lightning Network the other day.
I saw that.
It was like relatively free transaction fee, lightning fast, pun intended, and it was for pizza because why the hell not? I mean, it's the first thing that was ever bought with Bitcoin was pizza through Papa John's, I believe, in New York City. So like, you know, we got Lightning Network in the works. It's there, but it's not ready for the mainstream, you know, people to use. But once it is, that's it, man. Game on. Visa actually will have some competition. So right now, if you're investing in Bitcoin, I hope it's not because of the price and you think you're going to get rich in a week.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the price to probably go down. Who knows? But once that technology is utilized, it's going to be too late to buy back. That's the scary part. You know, don't try to short Bitcoin because it's really fucking hard to buy back once it starts to go back up. And usually in America, it happens while you're sleeping. Yep. China controls all of this.
For
so
sure.
Around 11 p.m., unless you're going to stay up for a couple hours every day for the rest of your life, you're probably not going to catch that moon.
Dude, I was up at 5:30 this morning because I knew that the price was going to fall a little bit. I knew it. I called it on Friday. I called it again yesterday. I was like, man, these futures are going to make the price fall. It's bound to happen. I was up at 5:30 this morning and I saw it drop below 10K.
I saw that. It bounced back up. It's up back over a little bit over 11, right?
Is it? Is it right now?
I checked earlier and it was up about 6% from its low for the day. And I was really impressed because everything kind of went up. Yeah, it's 10,850.
Okay.
But
I think it's going to...
It recovered pretty quickly from, you know, going under 10 grand.
I think it's going to fall again, though, before Friday because the contracts close on Friday. So
I'm expecting it to as well. I actually have some fiat I'm waiting. I hate saying I'm waiting for a dip, but at this point it's like
I am.
Well, it's almost yeah, exactly. It's almost inevitable, but I'm not selling anything like hoping that happens. You know, people that do technical analysis, I love it because they're like, my TA predicts this, and I'm like, that's cool and all. You can spend a week looking at that chart, setting up your technical analysis. But technical analysis becomes professional bullshit in a suit and tie the moment somebody puts out FUD. Your
Yep.
TA cannot predict South Korea FUD. Your TA can't predict the United States government calling, saying that they're going to control Bitcoin and then Ripple all over the mainstream media. Ripple this, Ripple that, Ripple. Your TA could not have predicted that.
So true.
So it's funny when people want to be like trading experts in this. Everybody coming in, if you're trading from traditional in stocks, stuff like that, it's cool to apply those things here, but
Yeah.
it's like this is like Wonderland and you're Alice. Nothing makes sense. It looks like it does, and then
Yeah.
the walls start to talk, and you're like, what the hell is this dip coming from? My TA said it was due for a 20% boost.
Well, my audience knows that I'm a fundamentalist, so like I trade on fundamental analysis, and that's really the only way that I think you can trade on this market for sure. Technical analysis definitely has its perks, and in a perfect society, I think technical analysis would have its factors there. But I like to trade on fundamental analysis. These Bitcoin futures are the reason that I think the price is falling, and that's completely fundamental. You can't look at a chart and say, hey, this is what's going on right now. You have to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
So I think it's hilarious though. Like, I had some questions that I wanted to ask you, and like I think you brought all of them up like without me even asking them. Like,
dude, that happens. When I interview people, it happens, and I'm like, I don't have any other material now. You ruined it.
I can't believe I've never talked to you before though. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I think you and I are ideologically very much the same when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I might be more of a businessman than you, but
most people are. I'm an enthusiast. I invest. I don't even like to say I invested, man. I really don't. I hate saying I invested in Bitcoin, because I didn't. I just chose to use a different currency. I could have chose euro, and if euro went up because the U.S. economy collapsed, does that make me a world's best investor? No, I just don't like this paper money thing, so I chose this paper money thing. I just chose Bitcoin because I liked its currency. I liked that it was permissionless and borderless, and all of that. I loved how fluid money moved in, and I liked that it was deflationary. Like, wow, I finally have something that's going to be scarce over time instead of like every year more of these paper dollars are printed. Like, I like to bring to my friends' attention, like, you don't even know what a $20 bill is worth, because you don't know how many $20 bills are in supply.
right.
You don't know how many $20 bills you have out of overall total $20 bills. You don't know how much money you have.
For sure.
You just know that there's a number written on it. I could do that with a Bitcoin paper wallet. That doesn't make it, and that's another thing, man. What about Bitcoin paper wallets? Do you give those out like to people and say like, hey, this is physical Bitcoin? Because I see that blow people's minds a lot. I've started to get into that, giving Bitcoin paper wallets and explaining the serial number as the public key, private key, and
that's actually what I gave for Christmas presents this year.
Dude, that's so cool. I got these things here from my Ether cards. So it's a gift card that you can load Ethereum onto.
That's awesome.
This guy here, in case anybody wants to send me $1 billion in Ethereum, but have this private key. The private key's right here, so you have to scratch it off.
Yeah.
To get access to it. So I thought that was really neat, and I gave a couple of these away. And I showed people, how to look it up on the blockchain. So I was like, here, if you take your public address, you can actually search it and show somebody, look, this is what's on here. So if you say there's $50 worth of Ethereum, you can show me on the blockchain that this public address holds $50 worth of Ethereum. I know the private key's still private, so when you hand it to me, it's as good as handing me $50.
For sure.
$50. So those are the conversations I have with people that kind of on-ramp them, and they get the concept a little bit about it being, a money transfer technology and not just money itself.
Right now, I think like out of the top like 3 currencies, I think the best way to move money around right now though is actually Litecoin.
Of course, 100%.
Between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, I think Litecoin is definitely the best way to move money around like that. And so if I could go back and do it again, I would probably give like Litecoin paper wallets to my friends and family for Christmas.
Oh, smart. Yeah, I think you're right. I did the Bitcoin paper wallet thing. It's like a Kleenex type deal. It's the branding. It's the known one. You're right. It probably does make sense to do a Litecoin paper wallet.
So I gave away 25. So before Christmas, like the fees on Bitcoin were just fucking ridiculous, and I gave 20.
Yeah.
I gave $25 away to all of my friends and family on Bitcoin paper wallets, and the fee on each one of those was actually $40.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
So about this awesome thing I told you was so awesome. Let me tell you why it's not so awesome at the moment.
yeah, exactly. But you know, the more people implement segregated witness wallets and
Yeah, like Coinbase. I hope you signed that petition.
dude, I did. Oh my god.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Dude, did we just become best friends?
Yeah, dude. Look at all those room for activities, man.
Oh shit, dude. I can't believe I've never talked to you before. Like
This is the first time we met everybody.
yeah, this really is. We have never talked before, so this is really hilarious, like how similar we are.
Cool. That's awesome. I love when I get into like conversations like this, and I'm like, I'm so happy I said yes, because I've come to shows of people, and I'm like, I don't know if I like what this guy's about.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
For
I'm
sure.
definitely gonna have to get you on my show, man. This has been awesome.
Oh, absolutely, man. I know you
So
said
some
you
of the people were.
you
Oh,
won't-
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know you said you only had like 30 or 45 minutes. Do you have any time to answer questions from anybody in the
I
chat?
do. I have about 15 more minutes, and then my girlfriend will drag me away from here.
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and make some time to ask Ken any questions that you guys might have.
I'll just start throwing out random facts. I got 3 cryptocurrency tattoos. I do plan on getting another one very, very, very soon. I've interviewed a lot of people, man. Andreas Antonopoulos, Tone Vage, Charlie Lee, Thomas France, Jack Tater, Vortex has been on my show. Adam Meister,
That's
Amir
awesome.
Russick, Simon Dixon. I've interviewed a lot of cool people, man. It's been awesome. It's been a cool year. I just really, like I said, just kind of got into it. I know people were only like a couple months in the crypto, but Bitcoin's been around, so I've only been involved like a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm
Yeah.
still a baby too.
You're like an OG to some of these people though, man.
Joe wants to know how stoned I am, and I actually did not smoke before this show. I took a nap.
Awesome. Oh, dude, how long have you been growing your beard?
My beard, wow. Babe, do you know how long I've been growing? I shaved it a while ago. I know this is from the last shave. Like 4 months, 3 months? Something like that, a couple months.
Okay.
I trimmed it up. I actually went to a barber shop where I spoke to my barber about crypto, and I tried to get him to accept Bitcoin, and we exchanged numbers, and this was back before Bitcoin went over like 12,000. It was still around 10,000
Oh shit.
before it like ran up. Yeah, and I was like, dude, let me just give you some Bitcoin, man. I'll hook you up. And he didn't want to, so I just gave him like I think it was like $10 or whatever. And I was like, all right, man, let me know. We exchanged numbers, and he doesn't work there anymore. I've haven't gotten a shave like that since, but he hit me up and was like, dude, I should have gotten that Bitcoin off you. Is there any way you could help me out? Like, show me. I was like, yeah, dude, no problem. So I'm actually going to exchange my like on-ramping help with him to get another shape up and a beard trim. So that's going to be cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yes, FuseX will be the best. I'm just checking out the chat here. Joe said FuseX. That was one of the companies at the North American Bitcoin conference in Miami I was at.
Nice.
What other options of crypto cards do I recommend? PFC Wells. I like BitPay. A lot of people don't, but I do use it in instances where I know I need to get away from volatility.
Yep.
So on Coinbase, if I like to ride that volatile wave, I'll pick any one of the 4 cryptocurrencies. So depending which one's the best performing the day I'm spending spending my currency, I want to get the best value. So I look at that chart in Coinbase. if Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, whatever has the most percentage for the daily chart gain, that's the currency I'm going to use at the grocery store because my money goes farther. And I have multiple choices of my currency every day. But if I think that we're going to see a bear market like this, I may want to sell some of my Bitcoin so I can buy myself something to eat because I'm all in. So I use BitPay to sell a little bit of Bitcoin for cash and hold it there in the USD wallet. So it becomes a debit card as opposed to like my crypto credit card that's shift payments. And yes, FuseX is coming out. They are right now raising funds. Their debit card will actually use ERC20 tokens, pretty much every cryptocurrency.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Dude, mind blown when I met those guys. I wish there wasn't such a language barrier because I really wanted to get in on like how to invest, but like I didn't want to get any token. I just wanted to buy the damn debit card.
Yeah,
that's what I use. I use crypto, and I'm like, you know what? I would love to use some ERC20 tokens to get something to eat. Like I have EOS, I have OMG, I have all kinds of ERC20 tokens. I would love to, use them if they're at the most volatile or, if they're the most profitable currency to use at the time. If the market's down and Bitcoin, Litecoin, the top 10 are down, usually every once in a while you'll have one of those altcoins that actually got a pretty good run up. And I can't choose that one even if it's in my portfolio to use as a currency, even though we're calling them cryptocurrencies. So I actually like the idea of FuseX.
Okay. What do you think of Centra?
I do not know of Centra.
I've never heard of that before either, man.
Centra. Nope. There was a lot of projects and ICOs and companies at the North American Bitcoin Conference. I like Airbit's new wallet, Edge Secure. They're a multi-cryptocurrency asset wallet. And you'll be able to, like, say you wanted to create an account with Binance. So you want to log into Binance. You want to create an account. You could use your Edge Secure to log into Binance like you do with like log in with Facebook or log in with Google, but it would be for all your cryptocurrency related things and your wallet. So you could like log in with Edge on Binance or something to that effect. So I was really checking out those guys. I like Edge. I really like Airbits since the beginning. I use Bitcoin for everything. So you open up the Airbits wallet, you go to directory, and it will tell you all the local businesses that accept Bitcoin for their services.
That's really fucking cool, man. Can you guys have a giveaway live?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
I do a giveaway every Friday on my live stream. I can
give away some social points that BTC Kyle
Yes,
gave me.
BTC Kyle. I saw that on Twitter the other day. I was like, that's fucking awesome, man.
It is pretty damn cool. They're, just social points. They're not on the exchange or anything. It's just like, hey, dude, you contributed. Let me, give you some street cred for that.
Well, that's how fucking Doge started on Reddit, dude. That's how Doge started.
I can't believe Doge is insane right now. Is it still over a penny?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Doge! Like, way to go, you little bastard! I never believed in you.
You redheaded stepchild, you.
Nobody believed in you. Even the people that believed in you didn't believe in you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Okay. How much social points? How many social points did BTC Kyle give away last night altogether on my live stream? I don't know if anybody watched, but if you go to my last video, the first person to check it out, let me know how many social points were given out. The video on my channel with BTC Kyle and me in the description box should have the answer. So the first person to post the answer of how many social points that BTC Kyle and me gave away last night, I will match that. I will give you the same amount.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think I saw that one, but I saw the one at the conference that you guys did with the 360 cam, and they shut the lights off on you guys.
I can't believe they did that. That was so awkward.
I was like, what the fuck, man? How are they going to shut? There's still people inside.
I threw BTC Kyle through a little trip because when they turned the lights off, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I looked around and, like, there was no anybody. It was just us.
Yeah.
And there was, like, everybody leaving. And I was like, nobody's at the bar. It's left unattended. do you want a beer, bro? And he was like, no. So I picked up a beer and I was like, all right. And I walked away and he was like, thief. Not really. But he looked at me like, oh my God. And I was like, well, they just cut the lights out on us. The tickets at the day of were $2,500.
Yeah.
I don't think they're hurting for a fucking Budweiser.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was really funny to see his face when I just grabbed the beer and walked away. It was like, yo, Ken's wild.
Dude, so I actually bought tickets to the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blockchain super conference in Dallas next month.
Oh, dude, February 16th, right?
Yep. I'm going.
Dude, I want to be there. So many people keep telling me. I don't know, man. I either have to go to that or with Jeff Berwick to Anarchapulco.
Yeah, so I bought a ticket for me, and then I bought a ticket for my brother. He's gonna like be holding my camera for me at the at that conference. I'm pretty stoked.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
You got yourself a little worker.
Yeah, it only costs $700 per ticket.
Skill game, you win. Skill game just won 5K social points, brother.
Nice.
You gotta make sure that you give me an ERC20 token wallet, like my Ether wallet. So
Yeah.
don't give me your Coinbase Ether address.
Yeah.
If you give me your Coinbase Ethereum address, those tokens will be gone forever, and I'll just shame you on the internet because you just burnt tokens.
Or a ledger,
Yeah, I use my ledger to negotiate or communicate with my Ether wallet because that's how ledgers roll.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Especially with the ERC20s. Yeah. I like the ledger wallet, dude. It's definitely one of my favorites. I actually have a treasure too. I got from my boy Crypto HW Wallet.
That's awesome.
CryptoHWWallet.com. Check out this treasure wallet, man.
I've got my.
It's got a leather case to it.
What the fuck? Dude, I
gotta see if I can get some juice into this so I can show you what it looks like.
Is that a Tamagotchi?
It looks like it, doesn't it? I love this thing. I don't know if I have a portable battery.
Dude,
this has to be plugged in to turn on. But if I could plug it in, I could show you. It has my little logo where it's like cheese. It's friggin' awesome, dude.
That is awesome. Skill game, just in his next or in here, like you could post your public key, man.
Yeah, actually tag me on Twitter at I'll post it right here at
there you go.
Kenneth Bosack, and make sure you tag at BTC Kyle KYLE
for sure
and hashtag SPT. That way I can send you those 5,000 SPT social points.
Dude, that's fucking awesome that you just did that.
Somebody said that their treasure didn't come that fancy. I would like to say, if this motivates you to start your own YouTube channel, start interviewing people, create tutorials and how-to videos, do pretty much what I did but do it better. I could definitely do a better job at doing what I do. I like to say I put the bare minimum effort into this. I don't want to try, because if I try, it's high maintenance. I literally just hit record and do me. And it works, but I could do better. You could do better too. So if you want to get cool gear like this, just start a YouTube channel, and people will send you swag if that's what motivates you.
For sure.
Me personally, I am not motivated by the free swag. I just know that my friends and family ask me questions now so often. I literally just want to send them a link to a YouTube video instead of having the same conversation 10 or 20 times a day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I make YouTube videos. If a lot of people are like, oh, how do I know what to make a video about? Whatever your friends and family are asking you, answer it in a video and send them that link, and YouTube ad revenue will come in, and you don't have to ask your family and friends for money because that's awkward.
Yeah.
But if you ask them for thumbs up, it's basically them giving you some money.
Dude, okay. I've been literally getting fucking demonetized on every single one of my videos.
Oh,
dude, have you been uploading to DTube all of your videos as well?
Not yet. No, I'm just going to start doing it. Omar Bam actually today just got hit with a couple crazy strikes on YouTube. And let's take a moment of silence for Omar Bam's YouTube channel because he has been strike written. They won't let him go live anymore, and they took down all of his live stream videos from the North American Bitcoin Conference in Miami. So,
why?
Yeah, YouTube, dude, it's the mainstream agenda, man. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're damaging the one percenters, you know, economy here. Every time you buy Bitcoin, you take value out of this economy permanently. Why do you think the SEC wants to make sure that people are going through the right channels? If China can launch an ICO and you give all of your wealth to China's ICO, you're giving America's wealth to China. So that's what's happening.
Damn, dude. Like, I can't believe that. I remember that Ethereum conference that he went to. He actually got a strike for that as well. That was like,
yes,
that was like
well,
8 months ago.
Worse. That was CoinDesk, and they did a copyright infringement suit because they owned the intellectual property of everything that happened under the building or something.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy getting demonetized. I have been using Steemit a lot.
Yeah.
D2 has been buggy. I tried to upload 1 or 2 things, and one worked, one did not work, and it's on the blockchain, so you can't delete it. Yeah. So it's on there permanently as like a messed up version of my video. It's glitchy and stuff. And I was like, I can't even edit this. So I'm kind of maybe waiting for one more update to D2 before I start going all in. But I do utilize Steemit to try and make that revenue I'm losing now from not being monetized. What I would like to say, though, is if you're watching us on YouTube, guys, and you want to contribute without actually giving us anything, like really without giving us anything, what you could do is sign up for YouTube Red. It's like $10 a month, and you have the ability to listen to these videos in the background. So you could open your phone, open YouTube, and listen to this conversation while playing Flappy Bird. You don't actually have to have YouTube open in the front. Another thing is you can download these videos. So if you're on an airplane, you can download YouTube videos and watch them on the airplane on airplane mode. And what I mean by give us something without giving us something is we actually make double the ad revenue from anybody who watches that has a YouTube Red account.
Yep.
So if you're paying for YouTube Red and you're watching this whole video right now, your one view is worth 2 people's views. So you made double the contribution just by holding a YouTube Red membership. So just for that, guys, I just want to put that out there.
Plus you get Google Play.
Pound that thumbs up button. Yo, the music, Google Play music.
Google Play music.
Okay, I gotta ask, what's one of your artists that you go to when you need to get pumped up for a video or something?
When I need to get pumped up, I really like Young the Giant. They're one of my favorite bands. Or Brand New. I really like Brand New, Manchester Orchestra. I listen to indie music, man.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I actually blast a little Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, dude.
I gotta hear that. I gotta hear that Humble. I gotta hear DNA. I gotta hear a little Loyalty. And
okay.
I'm ready to go, man.
Dude, I was listening to DJ Khaled earlier. That's what I was listening to before this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to Humble to get me pumped every time, pretty much, because I have anxiety, and as you can tell, I probably sweat a lot throughout the whole damn video because of my anxiety. But like I like to jam out, it gets me out of my head and into the conversation. That's so cool that Skill Game won 5,000 social points, bro. Please don't forget to tweet me and BTC Kyle your Ethereum address. That is an ERC20 token compatible address.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I can't stress that enough. I had my first ICO, Mobile Go tokens for game credits ICO, and I made a video on how to invest in this ICO and how to claim your tokens. And I never made a video after that because it literally made me tech support for thousands of people, and I could emotionally not handle these support tickets. I couldn't handle the support tickets, and it wasn't support. It was just my YouTube video and all of these comments that were giving me emotional anxiety. Basically, when people were investing in this ICO, they were giving their Coinbase Ethereum address or their Poloniex Ethereum address to the ICO. So they were investing tens of thousands of dollars into this ICO. And when they got their ERC20 tokens, they were burned because they were sent to an Ethereum address that you do not have the access to the private key. So if Bittrex or Poloniex don't let you get your private key, or Coinbase even does not let you get your private key, you can't send an ERC20 token there or ever expect to get it back.
But you can bet your ass that they're keeping it.
Oh, yeah, 100% they're keeping it. What do you think Bittrex is doing with all your Neo gas that they're stealing, bro?
It's Binance, dude.
Well, if Binance didn't do that, they would be that's why I like Binance. They're getting ahead of the game, dude, because they know if they don't start giving out that gas, it's fucking theft. We're
Yeah.
being robbed by these exchanges, like
Yeah.
point blank.
It's
What if you use
dividends.
TD Ameritrade? Exactly. What if you use TD Ameritrade to hold your stocks and they split, or you get the dividend and TD Ameritrade said, we don't really, we don't do that. I'm sorry, you should have used a different company. What?
Yeah.
People would be
Exactly.
up in arms, like literally
Guys,
arms.
listen to what he's saying right now. Y'all need to be using if I know a lot of my viewers are invested in Neo because I talk so much game about Neo. Neo is my favorite project this year. So I know a lot of my viewers are invested in it. Make sure you are using a wallet that pays you gas. I'm using the Neon wallet, which
So am I at the moment.
which allows me to hook up to my ledger. But if you want to keep your money on an exchange, use Binance. Make sure to use Binance.
Definitely. No, I definitely recommend Binance. And that's funny because, you know, Binance is the newest to the game,
Yeah,
but they have a mobile app for both of the world's largest operating systems. And I like that they have their own in-house currency for trading because it makes it the trade move fluider. So they give you like an incentive to use their in-house currency just for the trading fees
the
because it's
only
cheaper in-house, and they give you that, you know. I like that. I think that what they're doing is something, you know, a lot of these exchanges missed, and they're going to be MySpace really fast by Binance being like the Facebook of cryptocurrency exchanges.
the only thing that worries me about that is like the last exchange I remember that did that was actually Cryptsy, and I invested a lot of money and had it on Cryptsy whenever Cryptsy crashed, which would be
Oh,
which would be worth like a substantial amount of money. And I
write off. Don't forget to write that off.
I also lost a lot of money on Mount Gox. Um,
Oh wow, you have been around for a while. Jeebus.
yeah, I've I mean I told you I got in at 2013, right?
Yeah. Whenever I hear that in Mount Gox, I keep thinking Mount Gox was like earlier. It took a while for that to happen actually.
Yeah, it wasn't until January of 2014 that it failed. I actually got out of the crypto space for a while after that, for like a year. Um, I didn't want to have.
Emotional recovery.
Oh, dude, I was heartbroken. That would. Oh, dude, my Mount Gox account would be worth millions today.
Oh no. You know what though? Would you have had the hands? Would you have had the hands? I talked to a lot of people that sold over the years. Like I was at the North American Bitcoin conference, and people that got in that early, they're actually not buying as much as they're selling
Yeah,
because they had so much. It's weird. It's really, really weird.
for sure.
I'm not even buying Bitcoin anymore. It's what I live off of. So do you think you would have like held it up to this point, or at 5,000 would have cashed in, or even prior?
I've always been like I don't know. I've always been in this for the technology. Otherwise, I don't think I would still be here today. 'Cause like I could probably take my profits now and set up some mutual funds that would pay me annual interest that I could live off of for the rest of my life. But I really just love being here, man.
Yeah, I love it too, man. I feel you when you say that, because like it's even when you see somebody start up a company in crypto, you're like, ooh, they really must want to contribute to this industry because they could have just bought Bitcoin and made more money than any company they could start up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My company that I've started, Crypto Market Investments, is literally just built around my YouTube channel, trying to educate people about this space. And I think people like you and I aren't really in the education sector to make money. Like you don't make that much money off of this. Like
It costs me more than I make.
yeah, I mean, like this fucking microphone that I bought to make sure that I sound clear was expensive as shit. Like the camera that I bought, I've definitely spent more money on production stuff than I have like actually made on YouTube.
Oh, when you start to think about what if you just bought Bitcoin with that in a year? Because that's how I feel. I
Yeah,
bought my camera, my microphone, my computer all a year ago to do this YouTube channel. And I was like, shit, I could have bought 20 of these things with the same amount of money if I invested it instead of investing in YouTube. So you're right, man. And if anybody's looking for any free information, I do work with pureblockchainwealth.com. We have a wealth of knowledge on that website. You can sign up for a free newsletter. That's pureblockchainwealth.com. And that's where I put a lot of free information. The YouTube channel, I most recently interviewed Amir Rusick, so you can go ahead and check out the Pure Blockchain Wealth YouTube channel. But yeah, dude, it's really hard to find good free information that isn't trying to sell you something.
Oh, absolutely.
Like fucking Ty Lopez and his $500 course that's 1 week old. I've been in Bitcoin for a week. Give me $500 to talk to you.
Yeah. Or Ryan Hildreth and Crypto Nick.
Oh, well, I mean, at least Crypto Nick's been in the space. And if you listen to him talk, he knows his shit. He's just a fucked up used car salesman selling people lemons. Like, well, he could take that skill and stand on a soapbox and do so much good. But he's literally doing evil with it. Or not evil in a sense, but like he's playing a character that is something he's better than. I could see Crypto Nick being a better contribution. But people like Ty Lopez, they're just posers.
Well, but Crypto Nick doesn't really know anything about cryptocurrencies. Like he knows nothing about cryptography. So one of the coolest things that I love about cryptocurrencies is the fact that I worked with cryptography in the Air Force. Like that's what I did in the Air Force. I worked with cryptographic linguists. And so moving into this space, I was like, holy shit. I know what all of this is. I know what cryptography is. So, like reading the white papers, it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, like this is like fucking, you know, I'm getting off to this right now, you know? But I watched a video of Crypto Nick's the other day, and he didn't even know the difference between a public key and a private key. I was like,
I assumed he would know his shit because he was in this before me, but that is startlingly scary.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this kid is offering tutorials for $400 to brand new people, and he doesn't even know what a private key is? Like, that is not okay. I don't charge anybody for the information that I give.
No, there's tons of free information out there, and I hate when people try to, like, you know, profit off of the ignorance and the passion of others.
Yeah,
they're so unknowing, but they're so passionate that they just want to be a part of it.
Yep.
And there's wolves in sheep's clothing out there. Even my own website, KennBosack.com. I have a list of videos: how to buy Bitcoin, how to create a paper wallet, how to create an exchange, how to use this, how to do that. And people ask me all the time, oh, how do you do this? Or how do you do? I'm like, just go check out the site. And they're like, oh, how much is that? And I'm like, it's free. If anybody tells you that they're going to charge you for a video or any kind of course, run away, because there's so many people out there that are doing it for free out of sheer love and passion for the industry. You should feel bad trying to profit off of your, you know, doing this. There's certain instances where you can say, yes, I do charge, but like for me, I do charge for one-on-one consultations, for person-in-person, holding your hand and showing one individual how to do things step by step.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something I could feel comfortable charging for. But like, hey, I made a YouTube video. It's private. It's only viewable if I share the link, or it's in a Google Drive folder and it's encrypted with a lock. If you want access to the video, it's, you know, this many Bitcoin. I'm like, what? Run away from those people, everybody, because if you're not talking to somebody that just wants to force feed this information down your throat without you even mentioning money, they're not the person to help on-ramp you to begin with. They're probably going to talk about how you're going to make a bunch of money and buy a Lambo, and that's probably honestly not the case.
No. I actually made a video about that recently, man. I was like, dude, the reality of the situation is that if you're watching this, you're not going to be a millionaire.
Nope.
That's the reality of the situation. Only about 5% of the people in this space are going to be millionaires. And that's the reality, man. And I try to explain that to my viewers.
And people want to come in here like, you know, I put in $100 last week, but I'm down 30%. Bitcoin's a scam. I wanted my Lambo. Like, you, what?
Yeah.
And that's because of the people they talk to that on-ramp them, that are like, Joe, check out this Lambo I got, bro. You want one like this? $500 a course, man.
Yep.
Like, if you got in with that mentality, you're going to have a bad time.
Yep.
And we got a lot of people that came in like that. And that's why we're seeing this price correction like this. Weak hands, people that got in just for the profit. They don't care about the technology. They actually don't even know about the technology. Half the people are buying Ripple and they don't even understand that it's centralized and there's no cap. And I love when people's eyes, like when you look into somebody's eyes and go, hey, did you know that for every Ripple wallet you open, you have to keep 20 XRP? Could you imagine for every Bitcoin wallet you've ever created, you had to keep 20 Bitcoin in that wallet? Would that be a cryptocurrency worth investing? No, it wouldn't. It's a scam. And people are like, wow, 20 Ripple? That's expensive. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like opening a bank account, doesn't it?
Yeah. Dude, like, not many people know that the Ripple Foundation owns 60% of all the coins.
Oh, yep. So centralized, dude. And it's insane that they can just run the supply whenever they want it to.
Yep.
The circulating supply, they could just dump millions of Ripple into supply and totally crush the value if they decided to. Because if Ripple isn't moving at whatever pace the banks need it to, they can fugazi the stats and investors will be beat.
Dude, did you get that term from Wolf of Wall Street?
I did. I thought it applied here. I was like, I'm gonna drop it.
Oh shit, dude. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Oh
That's so awesome.
Shit. That is hilarious, man. Oh man, it has been a pleasure to talk to you, my dude. It has been a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show, dude. Thank you so much.
Man. Hey, if I could just plug a little bit here.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey guys, while I have your attention, check out pureblockchainwealth.com. We have a lot of information there. You can sign up for the newsletter. We'll be letting the top 5 picks for 2018 out soon of altcoins. KennBosack.com. I have a lot of tutorials and stuff like that. That is, free information. You can check me out on YouTube. I'm very adamant and active on Facebook and Twitter. And Skill Game, don't forget to tweet me at Kenneth Bosack, your Ethereum address, so I can send you some social points.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Again, thanks, Ken, and thank you everybody for watching. Really had a good time tonight. That's going to be it, though. Crypto Clay out.
Have a day.